It's time to talk sports. It's HACKSAW'S Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Monday? We do, from the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego on a Monday, coming off the great sports weekend. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host broadcasting from left field with his opinions, John Riley. We welcome you to our Monday bonus podcast. It's brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 stores in San Diego to serve you. You got projects at the home. We want you to think about them for materials or even ideas. DIXIELINE Lumber, and by North County Eye Center, Poway and Escondido, right now offering everybody that listens to our podcast a free eye exam and a discount on the frames you're purchasing for your next classes. That's North County Eye Center, Poway, Escondido. Tell them Hacksaw sent you. John Riley, boy, have we got a lot of unique things to talk about, and we got a group of followers that don't agree with stuff that was said on this podcast, and they are bombarding us by virtue of what we call Fans Forum. Explain to them on the live stream how Fans Forum works and how these people who used to listen to me on talk show radio can now get involved with us on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Yeah, pick a topic, pick up the phone.
Get off your ass and get online.
Exactly. So if you have a question or comment for Hacksaw, just type it in the live chat, Facebook, X, or on YouTube. We already got a bunch of guys that have piled in. They're arguing about Trevor Bauer. Is he the right fit for the Padres? But if you want to get involved in Fans Forum, just put your question in the live chat.
I don't want to antagonize anybody this early. But hey, dummy, have you joined Hacksaw's Insiders Group? We have a special club. You can be part of our team. You can join it. It's absolutely free. As John Riley would say, there's nothing bleeping free in America anymore. This is free. Go to my website, leehacksawhamilton.com. There's an orange box right on the homepage. Fill it out. You'll get our emails of everything we're doing and what plans we have for 2024. We want you to be part of Hacksaw's Insiders Group. What the hell's wrong with you? Want you to share, want you to subscribe, tell everybody what we're doing, because we post a ton of stuff on our YouTube channel on the days in which we're not actually doing our podcast. John, we got questions everywhere. We are on the clock. We have a lot of things to get done today. Let's start with your favorite team, the team that everybody's got an opinion about right now, the Friars.
The Friars, and they're killing me, Lee. They look great. They look bad. I don't know what to make of these guys.
Here's the question. I mean, we are pushing to the halfway point of the Major League Baseball season. Hey, Padre fan, like or dislike your team? I mean, we see home runs. We see the odd occasion, big innings. We've seen some quality starts, and then we see this. Statistics. You have to look at the statistics. The record is 34-35. That's not very good. This record is 13-21 at Petco Park. That's not very good.
No.
This record is 21-23 against teams with a losing record. Playoff teams don't act like that. That's not very good. And then there's all these ancillary statistics. John, just get your pencil out. I'm just going to throw them at you.
Okay.
12 guys thrown out on the bases, trying to get extra bases already. 6 picked off, 15 caught stealing. The team has committed 36 errors. This team has 7 pass balls, 21 wild pitches, and heading into this past weekend, stolen bases, the opponent was 30 of 40 against Padre catchers on stolen bases.
Wow.
So, John, please tell me, does this look like a playoff contending baseball team, or is the record what the record says you are?
Some days they look like they're world beaters, and other days they look like, the Colorado Rockies or worse. But I'll tell you what, I don't mind so much, being aggressive on the base pass. I like that. But a couple of times they were really dumb. I mean, there was clearly being too aggressive. But if they are just getting some, being called out on the bases, I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, but Mike Schilt says it's part of the game. Well, when you keep running yourself out of rallies and you're losing close games because you keep getting guys picked off, a.k.a. Fernando Tatis, 4 times already?
Well, yeah, the pickoffs are like a brain-dead moment.
Yeah, and caught stealing.
Yeah.
I mean, and getting thrown out, trying to take extra bases and getting gunned down at second, gunned down at third, knocked off at home plate. It's just not a complete baseball team right now. And of course, the other story, and they don't want to talk extensively about it, but this Joe Musgrove situation really worries me because and I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. I mentioned it a month ago, the word bone spur. And now they admit there's a bone spur. And now they admit he's had the plasma-rich platelet injection. That takes time to come back from. We could be talking an additional 4 to 6 weeks before Musgrove is ready if he doesn't have any setbacks, and we don't know that for a fact. And bone spur surgery could solve it, but that probably wipes him out for 2/3 of the baseball season, so I'd be worried about that. Manny Machado, I think, maybe going back to designated hitter. The hip flexor strain has supposedly improved, but he doesn't look like he can explode going down the bases or going from first to second or first to third. I just think they need to handle the Manny Machado thing with kid gloves. So you got Darvish. The Musgrove situation is much more serious than I think the average John Q fan knows. And then you got the young guys they're being forced to put out there. And Randy Vasquez has usually one really crappy inning, and it winds up being the difference between being in the game or out of the game. And as gritty and tenacious as Adam Mazur's been, he's really overwhelmed right now at this level. And to complicate it, virtually every one of the top stars in the Padre minor league farm system, John, is having a really substandard season, including the top pitching prospect, Rob Snelling, who's kind of stalled at Double-A. I mean, when you have minor league ERAs of 5, 6, 7, 8, that's not good. So I don't think there's a lot of help coming from the minor leagues right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I think you got to basically, put Musgrove on a shelf here. As a fan, we just can't have the expectation he's coming back. Vasquez has gotten better.
He has good innings.
Yeah. Brito, on the other hand, has been awful out of the bullpen. He's been terrible. We thought those two could start. The Adam Mazur pick is interesting because his first game, he looked terrific.
After the second inning. First and second inning, he walked the house and he escaped because of all the double plays.
Yeah, but still, he got the double play. I mean, way better than his second outing. The second outing, he looked young. I just think it's good that they're giving those guys a shot because I'd rather have those guys get a shot than having Russ Kinnear or some of these journeyman warm bodies fill in those holes.
Okay. Fans Forum box is open. You need to get into the chat box. Padre fan, here's the question. We're almost to the halfway point of this up and down roller coaster season. Are the Padres pretenders, or do you realistically think the Padres are contenders? And don't look at the back of anybody's bloody baseball card because we're dealing with what is right now. Fans Forum box is open. Padre fans, first ones to pile in. John, next group of baseball topics.
Well, we got to talk about the Dodgers and Angels, Lee.
Summertime update. Dodgers. Now, there's a bunch of Dodger fans that are really peeved at me. I don't understand it. The Dodgers are in first place, but it's been a streaky first place. But I think it's a first place of accomplishment, considering they had 12 guys in the DL, most of them pitchers this near first half of the baseball season. Update, Clayton Kershaw, another bullpen session, tops 90.
Hey.
That's pretty good. Dustin May, first and second bullpen session. He tops 90. Now, these guys still have to go out on rehab appearances sometime in the next calendar week, so I tend to think those are real positives. Negatives? Can anybody hit 6, 7, 8, or 9 in the Dodger lineup? The range of their batting average, John, goes from 108, Chris Taylor, to 203, Gavin Lux. 6, 7, 8, 9 can't bloody hit. And there's so much weight on the shoulders of the stars up top. I don't understand why, with all the hitting coaches and all the data they give Dave Roberts, the analytics department, these guys can't bloody hit, and we're at the halfway mark of the season. So that's the issue. Angels, they're losing. They go on the road. They get an occasional good game. Logan O'Hoppe just fascinated the fans with a home run in the bottom of the ninth inning that finally gave them a victory, but they're still sitting there at, 24-41 with the worst home record in Major League Baseball. And now this. And I don't know what kind of value they're going to get for this. The Angels general manager, Perry Manassian, has sent word to teams he's willing to deal. I don't know what the hell he's got to deal. I was told outfielder Joe Adell, the number 1 draft pick, who's having a good power year but is only hitting 203, and Taylor Ward kind of a journeyman. He's having a good power year, hitting a little bit better. I think they're going to try to move one or maybe both. Maybe they get a veteran pitcher in return because they sure do need arms, but this kind of just turns out to be a miserable summer season of baseball at Angel Stadium. So, John, the floor is yours for the Dodgers and the Angels.
Well, the Angels, I like that they're willing to deal because they've got to do something to change that up. I mean, they got to focus on the draft. They got to get good guys every year, but they got to be risk takers to try to flip one into two and turn some of these guys over. So good on Perry for doing that. The Dodgers is interesting because when you look at the Padres, you have your big three, and we're heavily dependent on the big three, and they're not performing and they're hurt, and the Padres are feeling that. But the big three for the Dodgers, they keep performing, and you can even include, Will Smith, number 4 in that list. They keep performing. Imagine if the Dodgers ended up getting any injuries or suddenly, Mookie Betts went cold. They'd be in a world of hurt.
Well, Mookie Betts was cold. Now he's hot again. And you've ignored the disabled list. John, they got 11 pitchers on the disabled list, and they're in first place. Can you believe that?
Well, because they have a lot of pitching depth, which is good on those guys for having all those young kids, in the farm system. I think Dustin May is a very exciting pitcher. So he's coming back. But you said they're just doing bullpen workouts. They got to go play in the minor leagues for a while. So maybe come July, August, those guys might be back.
Yeah, Bueller's halfway up the hill. He has good outing, bad outing. His ERA is 4.72, that's pretty excessive, but he's had no physical setbacks. He does have his velocity back, maybe not on a consistent basis. So it's just a slow growth process. Dodger fans forum is open. How good is this team? Or don't we know because they haven't had a whole team since the get-go? One other set of baseball notes here, John.
Yeah, like a lot of teams here in the news, Lee.
Yeah, let's start with the Yankees. They dodged a bullet here. They got some controversy at home, too. They were scared. They thought Juan Soto might have torn a tendon in his forearm, maybe by virtue of all the violent swings going for the home runs. Cannot play, underwent an MRI. MRI came back, showed inflammation, but no tear, no elbow ligament damage, no tendon in the forearm damage. So he might be going back into the lineup maybe as early as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. Take a deep breath. Because he has really helped carry the Yankees to the best record in the American League. Now, they got some controversy, and this was kind of crappy at Yankee Stadium on Sunday. The Dodgers came in and beat them twice. And the Yankees finally bounced back and won on Sunday. And the guy who came to the plate with men on base and just got booed viciously. And then the fans started to yell, Soto, Soto. I'm talking about Trent Grisham.
Okay.
He of .083 batting average.
Right.
Hit a 3-run homer and a solo homer.
Right on. Yeah, good for him.
And they won the game. Aaron Judge was livid in the clubhouse after the game. And, of course, Judge has carried the team.
Yeah.
Judge is hitting .419 since May 2nd with 18 home runs. He was really peeved at Yankee fans for booing a teammate. Said the guy's hardly played. The guy had an opportunity. The guy won a game for us. He doesn't deserve to be mocked with your fans yelling, Soto, Soto. Next team. This is awful because this is a good player. He can't stay healthy. He's on the disabled list for the 7th time in 2.5 years since he signed a $158 million mega contract with the Rockies, talking about Chris Bryant. And he's just cursed right now. And he's had every conceivable injury. Back problems, calf problems, foot problem. Now he's got a rib cage oblique problem. On the DL 7 times in 2.5 years. He's missed more games than he's played for the Rockies. Investment hasn't worked out. Toronto Blue Jays, Chicago Cubs. This is kind of unique. There's a big uproar in Toronto of how they've underachieved. The pitching's had injury problems. The big bats aren't hitting. The Blue Jays are taking offers on some of their bats, including Vladimir Guerrero. And you and I have talked about the uniqueness of a stadium. Might be Fenway Park, Green Monster, Yankee Stadium, right field wall, Cubs, Wrigley Field confines. Cubs, Vlad Guerrero. Man, would that add some oomph to the Chicago Cubs lineup? Of course, they already have Cody Bellinger, and they traded for Mike Bush, the Dodger first baseman. Toronto wants a load. Obviously, they want a whole pile of prospects, and I would assume Peter Crow Armstrong, the top young center fielder, is hitting like 390 at AAA, would have to be part, and a pitcher would have to go as part of the Guerrero deal. But Toronto looks like they're probably about to shake this situation up. And the other team is the White Sox. For the first time in your life, tomorrow, with all the channels you subscribe to out here in the family room, find the White Sox game. Drew Thorpe, Padres phenom who was traded, Dylan Cease deal.
Right on.
Called up, going to make his first start, Chi Sox, tomorrow.
Nice.
7-1, 1.34 ERA in AA. And AA leagues are pretty good. And in 2.5 years in the minors, the kid the Padres traded away is 21-3. So tomorrow, now Chicago, last I checked, geography was Central Standard Time, so you'll be out of commission probably effectively at 5 p.m. West Coast time.
Right.
So give me a scouting report on Drew Thorpe when that happens. So that's what's going on in baseball headlines.
Well, I saw Drew Thorpe pitch in Peoria when he was with the Padres, and he looked really good, as we were there for one of the last few spring training games. And so this guy's legit, so I expect him to do great things for the White Sox. White Sox sure as hell could use some talent on that team. They've been just so horrible for so long.
Think about that, 21-3 in the minor leagues.
Yeah, that's just nuts. So the other comment I'll make is about the Yankees. And I'm shocked that Trent Grisham is still on this team. He was kind of a throw-in, just to kind of move some money, I think, is part of the deal.
Take the contract, pal.
That's exactly it. So how did he hang around this long? Great that he got a home run and won the game, and good for Aaron Judge standing up for his guy, but I'm just shocked he's still there.
Well, the Yankees probably not willing to eat the last year of this contract this year at $8.3 million. But he does have a Gold Glove, and he has proven he can hit in streaks. Not recently, but he's not getting any ABs in games, so that's why he's got a .083
He
ERA.
hasn't hit since the short 2020 COVID season.
Yeah.
And then he had some home runs in the Padres playoff run when they got to the NLCS. But other than that, he's just been a dud at the plate. He hits like right around 200, but actually less now.
Yeah. He's an expensive fourth guy, but he's a fourth guy that's got some sort of track record, but I thought that was kind of cheap. They booed him because he's a good guy and he's an honest guy. He's not a hitter anymore, but he's still got Gold Glove capabilities. Okay, we move on in a minute as we get to halftime. Hacksaw's podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. John did it. New front doors, cabinets in the kitchen, in the family room. I did it. Windows and doors. We did it thanks to our friends at DIXIELINE Lumber. You got projects. These guys have the material. You want ideas. We want you to call them, stop over and say, this is what I'd like to do. Help me. Because that's what I did, and I was pleased. DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Podcast brought to you by North County Eye Centers of Poway and Escondido. You're going to need help with your eyes sometime. But if you've not had an eye test in a long time, this is to find out about your eye health right now, because North County Eye Center is offering free eye exams and a discount at North County Eye Center on any glasses. So listen, you need help with your eyes, not had an eye test, call, set up an appointment, and tell them Hacksaw's podcast sent you to North County Eye Center, Poway, Escondido. And before we go to the second half of our podcast, Monday bonus get-together, just a reminder, if you're new to our live stream Monday and Thursday podcast, we do something different. We give you an opportunity right at the end of the podcast to jump on board. You know, when it was Sports Talk Radio, it was first-time caller, long-time listener, Raider fan out of jail on bail. Call now on a stolen car phone in a stolen car. Hey, we invite you to join us. It's called Fans Forum. John will tell you how you become part of the team.
Talk to me, Escondido. So we got a bunch of guys already involved. Roberto and David and Petey and Neil. And who else is in the list here? David. So, hey, if you got a question or comment for Lee in the world of sports, just type it in the live chat, Facebook, X, or YouTube, and we'll get you involved.
And by the way, your cell phone, it does work from left field where John is with all of his opinions, so feel free to jump in, Fans Forum. And the other item, a dummy. Please tell me why you have not joined Hacksaw's Insiders Group. We started this club. Go to my website, leehacksawhamilton.com. I write on it every day of the week on the homepage. Right at the front, there's a big orange box. Fill it out and get us the information, because then you'll get on our mailing list all the different things we have. By the way, we want you to share. We do want you to subscribe to this podcast. John, how do they do that?
Well, you can just click on the subscribe button and YouTube, or you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and you'll get alerts when we go live.
And we do put a lot of stuff up there. Some of it good, some of it bad, some of it, whoa. We put that on our YouTube channel in addition to what we're doing Monday and Thursday. So share, tell your friends who we are, what we're doing. Subscribe. Damn it. What's the word of the day? Subscribe.
That's it.
Okay, we go to the second half of our Monday bonus podcast. Boy, we got a big legal story here to talk about.
Yeah, you were talking about this right before we got started about this lawsuit. This is huge.
Okay, here's the question. Full disclosure. I went to Ohio University. All right. The day they taught law at Ohio University, I cut class, went drinking uptown to have some beers. Now, you never cut class at UCSD when you got your 3.9 grade point average. So I'm going to give you the details.
Okay.
I want you to use your legal background because you never went drinking in cut law class at UCSD. Here's the big story. National Football League has been sued. An antitrust lawsuit filed by 2.4 million fans and 480 businesses over the formation of the Sunday Ticket direct TV package. The lawsuits say the NFL conspired with its network partners to take marquee games off the networks, take them away from the fans who got the chance to used to see them on TV. Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, something on Sunday. Took marquee games and put them on the Sunday Ticket package and charged an exorbitant amount, $399 per person.
Yeah.
They say that's an antitrust violation, that this was collusion by the NFL and its network partners to create another revenue stream that became Sunday Ticket Direct TV, which is kind of popular. They think the $399 fee is outrageous. NFL's response is, we give you games. The home team's games are on TV in your market, whether the game's sold out or not. And that used to be the proviso. If the game's not sold out, you can't see it at home. So, quote, San Diego Charger fan could see Charger games home and road, thanks to the NFL. And then, by the way, you can see games on the CBS affiliate, KFMB, and Fox 5 in San Diego, or up in Los Angeles. So what are you bitching about? And then the NFL closed out their opening statements by saying, this is an add-on. This is a premium piece of programming that we own. We can do anything we want as an add-on. And the marquee fan who wants to subscribe to be able to go see all New York Jet games on Direct TV or Sunday Ticket can for $399. You're still getting games. It's not like we blocked you out completely. So, John, I was in a bar drinking Stroh's beer when they taught that at college. You were in class. So is the NFL right that they can take a piece of their product and create something different and charge an exorbitant price? Or is John Q. Fan right? You gave me these games as part of typical NFL Sundays on television. Now you want to pay $399 to watch my favorite team or watch a marquee game? And John Riley says,
of course, the NFL has the right to do that. It's their product, their property, and they can charge what they like. I mean, it's no different. Like you could say, I used to go see Taylor Swift when she played in these small concerts. Now you expect me to pay $1,000 to go see her at SoFi. And if I want to go see the Taylor Swift movie in the theater, I got to pay for that too. No one complains about Taylor Swift having a monopoly on Taylor Swift. I mean, it's her product, her image, her license. She should have the right to do it. Same with the NFL. The NFL is just trying to maximize revenue and grow viewership, create more hype around it. I don't see the problem. I don't see any damages incurred.
The capitalist in him.
Exactly.
Now, I will also tell you, historically, the NFL has always been caught holding a bag of money under the table. You know, the prime lawsuit that the NFL stumbled through, the last one, the major one that they stumbled through, was the concussion lawsuit. That, we had no knowledge. We didn't cover anything up. All these players are killing themselves and dropping dead and having dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's because of head blows. We didn't know anything about it. So they get sued by the Players Association. And hours before the trial's supposed to open, bag of money on the table. We settled it out of court. By the way, we're not guilty of anything. So we have that kind of history about the NFL. It's always about the bank.
Well, yeah, I mean, a bag of money. I just like that idea. But you know, when there's concussions, that was a legitimate problem. There were actual damages.
Sure.
What's the damage with going to DirecTV? Like the New York Jet fan gets his feelings hurt because he has to pay for a few games. I mean, he's already paying for them on cable TV if he has a cable TV subscription.
But that's $29 a month. That's not $399 a year.
Well, I mean, if he goes to the stadium, he's going to be spending at least that in tickets for a season. I mean, what do they expect? They want to get it for free, or they want to get it at a low cost and they think they're entitled.
The wife from West Virginia, Steeler fan.
Mm-hmm.
If I canceled DirecTV, do you know how much heat and hate there'd be in my family room if Steeler fan could not see Steelers?
Well, pay the money, make the wife happy, put some bucks into Roger Goodell's pocket.
Okay, so that's a fans forum question for diehard NFL fans. Just give us a quick response. Do you think the NFL has a right to package what they want to package anyway, or is it a bloody money grab that kind of turns you off? Feel free to jump on board. A couple of Dallas Cowboys stories here. And let me just run through this fairly quickly for you. Big story involving Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory was a pretty good college football player, defensive end. Nebraska had a lot of problems, suspended by the National Football League very early on. Randy Gregory has now filed a massive lawsuit against the NFL and the Denver Broncos, saying that because the NFL refused to give him a, quote, therapeutic waiver for bipolar depression and anxiety attacks, he got suspended 4 times for, quote, drug violations, and he had every right to get the therapeutic waiver. He's been fined $533,000 in his career. He's a good football player, but there's a mental health issue. And now he's suing the league because they kept turning down the therapeutic waiver that a lot of other players have for bipolar, anxiety, whatever. So that's a big issue that's going forward there in Dallas. Of course, he is now with the 49ers, but he was a pretty good player with the Broncos and with the Cowboys early on. Denver, here's a headline for you. Guess who started taking snaps with the number 1 offense in their final OTAs today?
Bo Nix.
You got it. And he has fast-forwarded, jumped ahead of Zach Wilson, has left the journeyman Jarrett Stidham in the rearview mirror, and he has just swallowed everything that Sean Payton has offered in terms of the playbook, team meetings, the complexities, etc. Bad story, Miami. Why would you do this? He's an unsigned free agent still. His name is Xavier Howard, Pro Bowl cornerback. He has now been arrested and charged with, quote, revenge porn. Relationship with a teenage girl. Relationship went sour. He evidently videoed sexual escapades, him and her, and then put it out on social media. Good night now to your career, Xavier Howard. And then there's Kansas City. Rashee Rice has been arrested twice in the offseason. Chief players put their arms around him. We're going to make him a better person as well as being a really good football player. Now we find out he was involved in a shooting at SMU when he was in college. and that the Chiefs and Andy Reid knew about it and did nothing about it. Then they drafted him. Now he's got this other problem. Now he's been allowed to come to their OTAs, but pretty shortly the gate will be locked because the NFL is going to suspend him for this terrible drag racing incident that injured all these different people. He's being sued by 6 different people that he and a former SMU teammate caused by drag racing on a Dallas freeway in the middle of the night. He's got a big problem. Last one, late breaking story. For some reason, they don't like him. Now, maybe it's because they compare him to the coach that preceded him to the coach that preceded him. Talking about Steelers, what Bill Cowher was prior to that, what Chuck Noll became. Mike Tomlin catches a lot of heat. He has never had a losing season in 17 years in the Steel City. Just signed a contract extension through 2027. I didn't realize this till today. His composite record is 173-100 in Pittsburgh. But dude has not been to the Super Bowl. That's kind of a big issue because the coach prior did, and the coach prior to that got him into the Hall of Fame in terms of Chuck Noll. So that's what's going on with the NFL Notebook, and you already told us that you're a favorite of capitalism, so yes, that's okay. Any comments on this whole Randy Gregory story?
Well, I just like I want to talk about the Denver Broncos. I love that Bo Nix is having success. And we talked a lot about the year of the quarterback, and there were a lot of them were on the West Coast, and, it's Penix, it's Nix, it's Caleb Williams. I'm hoping that they're going to have a lot of success in the NFL. And it's nice to see someone like Bo Nix. He always said he was a systems quarterback. Now he's landed in a system. This could be a blessing for the two.
Yeah, with a crazy man as coach who's an X and O's phenom.
You're right.
So, I mean, it's going to be fun to see this going forward. The only difference is Caleb Williams has a lot of pretty good offensive skill people around him. Mm-hmm. Denver does not really. I mean, they have a young running back, Javonte Williams, coming off knee surgery, who finally found himself at the back end of last season. All their wide receivers have been hurt, and they've had skilled guys. You just can't keep them on the field. So now Bo Nix, I think it's going to be a little overwhelming because I just don't think he has the firepower around him. But this bears watching because he is.
Just another quick question on the Steelers. I saw, did you report this, I think, in the Best 15, that they're thinking of using Justin Fields like Cordell Stewart?
Yeah, and also possibly say, hey, new rules, kickoff and punt returns, go back there. Because he's big and he's athletic and he is fast. He's got wheels. And Justin Fields said, well, I'm a quarterback. Well, he's going to be the backup quarterback to Russell Wilson. Do you run the risk of getting him busted up trying to return kicks? But he's so gifted athletically. So where there's conversation in the meeting rooms with the quarterbacks, there might be Justin Fields trying to return some kicks. Okay, we go from football to hoops.
Yeah, look at this list here. The Lakers at the top. Big news today.
Yeah, big news today. Let me throw this at you. The Lakers met for 6 hours with Dan Hurley on Friday. Continued the conversation when he got back to Storrs, Connecticut. The Lakers offered him 6 years, $78 million. He thought about it. I'm sure they pulled on his heartstrings. This is the NBA. This is the epitome of your profession. Look at who we are. Championship banners. He turned them down. The heartstrings pulled stronger to keep him on that campus. And he said today in a press statement, I walked that campus. I love this campus. I'm not leaving this campus. He's staying at the University of Connecticut. Now they're going to bump him. I don't know how financially they're going to be able to execute this because it just gave Gino Auriemma, the coach of the women's basketball program, a record-setting contract. But they're going to bump him from $5 million base to $9 million to keep him.
Good.
So Dan Hurley is staying. Where are they going? Are they going back to J.J. Redick? Because everybody's panned them about that. Or are they going to look at James Borrego, who's a highly regarded assistant with New Orleans, been some other places? Or the new name? Their consultant, Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K. He's the one that hooked them up with Hurley. I've been told is going to recommend Jay Wright, who walked away from everything great at Villanova a couple of years ago. He didn't like what NCAA basketball had become with the NIL transfer portal. Is Jay Wright the next one that's going to interview with the Lakers? Jay Wright, to me, brilliant guy, a little bit much different personality than the firebrand that is Dan Hurley. They could still win-win if they hire Jay Wright. I think Borrego's a pretty good assistant coach who's bided his time. I'm not a J.J. Redick fan. Just stay on TV with Doris Burke and Mike Breen and just don't try to coach the Lakers. But that's where we are. So quick comment on the Lakers, what they didn't get and what they still could get.
Well, like I said, I believe in capitalism, and that's what Dan Hurley is doing. He's playing one offer off the other. He's getting more money from UConn, maybe not as much as LA, but he avoids all the hysteria and the craziness there. But I like this Jay Wright rumor. I mean, I think I see Jay Wright. He kind of reminds me of Pat Riley in the 80s, just a real sharp looking guy,
smart guy,
and a smart guy. I mean, that could be a good fit. And he, is currently just on television. So yeah, I think that could work.
Next basketball topic. We have talked off and on about the Aztec All-American JAEDON LEDEE and how badly I felt that he did not get invited to the NBA Combine. I thought it was a terrible snub. He went to the G camp. It does not look like he's going to get drafted, which is a bit of a disappointment. But something good, I think, comes out of maybe something bad for JAEDON LEDEE. He's having private workouts. Golden State, Phoenix Suns, was told Chicago, I think Utah and the Lakers. If he's undrafted, he's a free agent. And everybody's walking around angry about that because this was a 4.0 grade point kid who stayed the extra year and became the cornerstone of last year's Aztec team. The good part would be he'd get to choose where to go. So I would hope family and agent, and I'm sure they're thinking about this, I would hope if he does not get drafted on the 26th or 27th of this month, look at the head coach of the teams that want you to sign as an undrafted free agent. Look at the roster. How do you fit your skills? Sometimes you don't always go to a marquee team. Maybe it shouldn't be the Lakers. Maybe it should be the down-and-out Brooklyn Nets or the player talent thin Chicago Bulls. Where can I take my frame and my skills and plan it for a coach that would teach me and give me opportunities? Sometimes being the 12th guy on the roster at the end of the bench, even though you're wearing Laker uniform, that's not a good thing. So something good could come happen because he might be able to handpick. He's getting bagged a little bit because even though he was listed at 6'9", he's actually 6'7.5", and he's 250. And there's some critique. Well, he's an older 24 about to flip to 25. My response is his game is polished. His game is tough. Yeah, there'll be bigger guys guarding him or maybe athletes who can jump him, but you can't defend 250 with a guy's got touch around the basket and a guy who can work on and improve his three-point shot like Kawhi Leonard did. So I think something good comes out of LEDEE. If he does not get drafted, just make the right choice. If I were king, hell, I'd be going to Golden State. I'd play for Steve Kerr.
Oh,
I'd learn for Steve Kerr. And that's an older team that's going to go towards transition, and they're looking for the 7th, 8th, and 9th guy. And in that role with his strengths, that might work. So we'll see where it goes with LEDEE. But I thought about this over the weekend because I just felt really bad that the way this thing has evolved. Let somebody else make the mistake. If you get the choice, just make sure with your parents and your agent, right choice, right coach, the right roster. I think that's a real thing. Bronny James, he's had 3 private workouts, and I've been told he's just exploded. And this was not shooting against air. This was 3-on-3 scrimmage stuff. His defense is a lot better than anybody realizes, but he is big. He's long. He hits the outside shot. Some people are of the opinion he's pushed himself into the back of the first round. Now, once you get beyond the top 10 or 15, who knows what the next 15 guys might be. You'd be drafting Bronny James on upside, potential down road. But his what he did at the G League camp was okay. What he did at the NBA Combine camp was okay, but that wasn't full-blown scrimmages. But now he's going 3-on-3 in these private NBA workouts with some NBA players on the floor. Kids played well. So we'll see whether he's a second-round pick or a back of the first round. The third name there, this is an awful story. 5 men in Brooklyn have been arrested for extortion. Jontay Porter was that forward, that outstanding young rookie, Toronto Raptors, lifetime suspension from the NBA for betting on games and giving inside information to people to bet on games as to how many minutes he would play. And Jontay Porter went on the floor and feigned an injury and feigned illness and limited his playing minutes and came off the floor. And all these guys bet pile of money that he won't play more than 4 minutes. And he came out 3 minutes in, said, I'm sick, or I injured my ankle. And they each won over $1 million apiece by this scam. Porter was in such deep betting debt to these loan sharks. They coerced him into doing this. So his life is over as a basketball player. 5 guys have now been arrested. I think Porter has told the authorities, these are the guys I lost money with. These are what these guys proposed. These are what these guys coerced me into. Now, he's gone from basketball, so maybe he'll go play in Europe or whatever. But that's the background on the story of Jontay Porter. That thing just exploded over the weekend. So John Riley wants to talk about the draft and Porter.
Well, let's just say this. I think LEDEE is going to land somewhere. I like your idea. Hey, if you're a free agent, you can choose. I mean, because the draft, if you really think about it, the draft is kind of unjust to the players because you get taken and you might go be number 1 overall, but you're going to go play somewhere that maybe you don't want to go. It's like John Elway. It's like, the other Manning kid, Eli Manning. I don't blame them for being upset about that, but I'm confident LEDEE, he's NBA ready right now. You get him into a system, he's going to produce. The other one is Bronny. I don't know what in the hell I make out of Bronny James. And on one level, he's this LeBron legacy who's, kind of getting all the benefits of that. On the other hand, he's lighting up these 3-on-3 scrimmages with NBA players, but then he can't keep the starting job for the USC Trojans. I mean, so who is this guy?
You're drafting on potential.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. I wouldn't spend a number 1 pick on him. But again, I wasn't there in the private workouts to see what he did one-on-one against somebody's NBA 6th man. So only time will tell on that. Okay, we go from hoops. Let's talk puck.
Puck, you got the shirt on for puck right now. It looks good.
Edmonton Oilers, they need all the help in the world they can get. This can be a hell of a series, Florida Panthers. Yes, Edmonton got beat 3-0 first game. Outshot the Florida Panthers 35-18. And Sergei Bobrovsky, the Russian goaltender, stoned him. I mean, with saves he made, when the net was wide open, just unbelievable. That's only counts as 1 game. Now, the Oilers do have to win tonight at 5 o'clock. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'll be screaming at the TV if the Oilers don't climb back in to this playoff series. But it's going to probably go 6 or 7. It'll be really hard on the fans in Canada if Connor McDavid and Edmonton can't get this done because they've waited so long for these guys to get into the playoffs. One other hockey note. I don't understand this explanation. Gary Bettman, the commissioner, the president of the NHL, was asked at the State of the League address before the first game of the Stanley Cup Finals just about the status of legendary coach Joel Kenville. Kenville, great coach. He was a great player as a defenseman, great coach, St. Louis Blues, Chicago, and then obviously was in the NHL and was removed. He got implicated in the sexual assault situation. Video coach of the Blackhawks years ago sexually assaulted a rookie on the Blackhawks team. Nothing came of it till the ex-Blackhawk young prospect finally went public about 2 years ago and filed a massive lawsuit and won it. But what was implicated was the general manager of the Blackhawks was dragged into this because they had knowledge that this incident had happened and did nothing about it. Kenville got dragged into it. It happened during the playoffs, and Kenville's response is, I have playoff games to get ready for. I'm not going to be concerned at this minute about a fringe player and what might have happened to him. And Blackhawks never did the investigation at the point that it happened. And the true investigation never happened until the player filed the lawsuit, and then they found out that this had happened. Well, the big issue with Kenville, he stepped down. He was, I guess, in essence, he was unsuspended. He was forced out. He stepped away, and he's never been reinstated. And NHL clubs have gone and wanted to talk to Kenville, and Kenville's directed them to Gary Bettman and said, I have to go through a reinstatement hearing or meeting. And Bettman has never brought him in for that hearing. So in essence, Kenville, who's kind of on the periphery of the story, he's just really been blackballed. He's a hell of a coach, and he was a fine player and gentleman. So I feel kind of bad for him. That's the other big hockey story off the ice. And John Riley says,
so is that guilty until proven innocent? I mean, is he, because he was never tried, he was never investigated. It's just a rumor.
Well, it's not a rumor because the incident happened and the kid won the lawsuit against the team. And Scotty Bowman's son, Stan Bowman, who was the general manager of the Blackhawks, was fired. Kenville, of course, was already gone, but Kenville was coaching in the Deep South at that point in time, and he stepped away. Now, I'm sure the league told him, you must step away or maybe you're going to get suspended. But it's been 3 or 4 years now. And these clubs are calling saying, we'd like to talk to Kenville, and the league has not scheduled a reinstatement hearing, which I think is really unfair to the guy.
Sounds like Major League Baseball and Pete Rose and all this other stuff about reinstatement. But go on, that Oilers shirt's fantastic, by the way. Talk about the game tonight. Let's just assume that the Oilers are unsuccessful and they're down 0-2. Is the series over in your opinion?
No, because playing up there at Rogers Place, that's an unbelievable place. It's noisy. I mean, there's a real home ice advantage in that building. It rocks, it rolls. You've seen the pregame festivities, and they sing the "Oh Canada" in the middle of the crowd. I mean, it's just a phenomenal thing. They're not done. Edmonton's going to score some goals. Edmonton has bounced back in other series so far this season. But, I mean, they dominated that game. I mean, at one point, I think the shots were 14-2 Edmonton. And just couldn't put the puck in the net. Bobrovsky stoned him. And Bobrovsky, not only is he a great goaltender in terms of quickness, now he's a bit of a flopper, which means the net is open. He goes down. I've never seen somebody make as many saves flashing a stick out there while he's lying face down on the ice or kicking his pads out there and blocking shots.
Wow.
So what I think Edmonton has to do is storm the net, but go high. Because if he's going down, he could still get to it. But if you're getting him to move side to side, go high. Beat him over the shoulder. So it'll be fun going forward. It was interesting. At the start of the Edmonton game, Bobrovsky got hit with a deflected shot right in the face mask. And he went down like a sack of potatoes. They said, holy cow, he's stunned. And they had a face-off, and he was just skating around, and they gave him some time to catch his breath. Came back, he was unbelievable. But he took a glancing shot on a deflection right off the face mask, and he went boom. But great series. It'll be fascinating to see if Edmonton does some different things. I think they got to go top shelf to beat Bobrovsky, maybe to get him back into the net and not being on the edge as aggressive as he is. But pretty good playoff series.
Hockey players are a different breed, aren't they, Lee?
Oh, cut from a different cloth. Toughest trophy in the world to get to. So, Lakers line is open. Hockey hotline is open. Fans Forum is just about to start. Last topic on the table, John's favorite segment.
The high-speed sports wire? Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Damn right.
Yeah, damn right. Okay, here we go. We got to talk about the French Open.
French Open tennis tournament. Here's the question. I don't know. Are there any tennis fans out there? Wife is yelling at the TV all the time. You're a big tennis fan. Different era. We're about to cross the threshold. Somebody who's a tennis fan needs to answer this question. Who is going to replace the superstars? Novak Djokovic left the French Open, torn meniscus in his knee. That's an extended rehab. That could be 3 months, could be 6 months. He's done some dynamic things. What if he comes back and he's not the same player? Because he's got a lot of miles on those wheels. Rafael Nadal, hip surgery, has not come back, has pulled out of tournaments, has failed when he's tried to come back. He looks like he's about to file his papers and retire. And the legendary Roger Federer retired after 2 years of struggles coming back from knee surgery. Those three guys, Yoko, Rafi, and Fed, 66 combined Grand Slam wins. Please tell me who is going to replace them front and center as the next superstar in tennis. Is it Carlos Alcaraz, who's got 3 Grand Slams but is hot and cold? It's not Zverev. He's got all kinds of personal problems back in Germany, lawsuits and women and stuff like that. Where's the next superstar in tennis coming from? Because it looks like we're about to lose the top 3. That's one topic. Belmont Stakes. What a cool race that was. And I'll tell you, this is the scene setter for what we're going to see in November when the Breeders' Cup Classic is run. So we had 3 different winners in the Triple Crown. Obviously, the outstanding 3-year-old, Bob Baffert's 3-year-old mule, couldn't run because of illness, injury, and the Baffert suspension. That horse did not run in any of the 3 jewels, kind of a lost 3-year-old year. But my goodness, what we saw on Saturday was pretty doggone impressive. Horse runs to the lead, runs away from the field, comes out of the 4th turn to the backstretch. The field catches him, and he finds oomph. If that thing had gone 10 more yards, he might have lost. He won. He won at Saratoga in the Belmont Stakes, Darnock. And, of course, we had Seize the Gray, who outran everybody at the Preakness, and they had Mystic Dan in the photo finish in the Kentucky Derby who faded really badly. So I think what we're talking about here is got 3 different winners out of the Triple Crown going to the Breeders' Cup in November, and Muth, Baffert's horse, will probably be healthy there. So I think we got 4 great 3-year-olds all going to run against each other when we get to the Breeders' Cup Classic. So
Nice.
That's going to be kind of cool. And then we got soccer to talk about. Man, oh man, are there storylines everywhere in pro soccer? Let me just run through this. Liverpool, you'll recognize the CEO of Fenway Sports Group who oversees Liverpool, the English Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Werner.
Oh, that's Tom Werner.
Tom Werner. Tom Werner of Fire Sale Padre Baseball, now the Red Sox executive who oversees Fenway Sports Group's ownership of Liverpool.
Who's the other guy that's at the top of the heap?
John Henry.
That's who I was thinking.
Well,
of.
both of them, anyhow.
Okay.
Tom Werner has proposed in a meeting to the English Premier League. You listen to what we have to say because we in the United States know how to market our professional sports. You should take marquee games in the EPL. Marquee. Don't send me Nottingham Forest and Leeds United.
Mm-hmm.
You send me Manchester City and Liverpool and Manchester United and Arsenal. And play some regular season games in the U.S. to market your product. Tom Werner is proposing EPL games with the Neon Light franchises in New York, in Los Angeles, in Miami, in San Francisco. He says we'd draw 50 to 60,000 or maybe 80,000 in football stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
This needs to happen. So that's the latest sales pitch. And Tom Werner saying, we know what we're doing here with our sports, NFL, Major League Baseball, et cetera, EPL. So, John, there you go. Is there somebody out there that catches your attention in tennis? Team USA soccer, worst loss ever. Greg Berhalter's coaching career with Team USA. They got beat by Colombia 5-1, got blitzed by Colombia. 3 turnovers in front of goaltender Matt Turner was left naked, could not stop him. Now they got to play Brazil in a friendly on Wednesday. Brazil. So, Team USA is getting ready for the Copa tournament that starts the 23rd of June. And it looked like they had really come together, but this was a terrible setback because they just all these breakdowns in front of their goaltender, Matt Turner, and losing. So you got tennis, you got soccer, you got the ponies, and go ahead and
just
comment.
A couple of quick hits here. The soccer, I watched the game that they were down 2-0 at the half to Colombia. And then they got it down to 2-1, and you're thinking, hey, the Americans have a shot. And at the end of the game, everything went to hell.
3 goals, 13 minutes.
Yeah, it was awful. And then, talking about, the Red Sox owner, saying, hey, Werner, we know how to market in America. Well, first of all, he's being an arrogant ass. Okay. But he's right. Because bringing the sport here to America is going to expand the fan base. It's no different than Major League Baseball going to Korea, the NFL going to Europe. And you might say, well, EPL, Man City fan, you're going to lose a home game. Fans might be upset. Well, speaking for myself as a Padre fan, when I went over and played in Korea, I thought that was terrific, to see my team kind of at a worldwide level. So that's good. And I say, I long for the days when I followed tennis. It was McEnroe, it was Borg, it was Everett, Navratilova. It was, a lot of great characters. And Jimmy Connors. I can't even name one American tennis player other than Coco Gauff.
Yeah, there are hardly any there right now. It's just a different cycle, or just the growth of the phenomenal athletes. We're talking about the same thing on the PGA and the LPGA tour. The growth of the great Pacific Rim athletes that are coming over and playing. The quality of play is phenomenal, but the identity of who's the star is not. Hey, our Monday Bonus podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. You got projects, these people have the materials, and check with them about ideas. And by North County Eye Center, we remind you, you can get a free eye exam. You set it up now. Call North County Eye Center, Poway Escondido. Say, Hacksaw and his podcast sent me free eye exam. We're on a tight clock. John Riley's best friends are lined up. Here come the hits. We call it Fans Forum. John, go ahead.
Okay, Fans Forum. Roberto says, after watching Trevor Bauer pitch in Mexico with the Diablos, why not sign him with the Padres? I believe he's ready.
We did a one man's opinion commentary on Instagram. We got 55,000 views.
Yeah.
Just like that. I concur with you. Last I checked, he was 5-0 with a 1.50 ERA. Now that's the equivalent of AAA baseball in Mexico. But nobody's touched him, and there's a lot of pitching staffs that really need arms. This guy could be an arm. You control the inventory. You control the contract you're going to give him. Either he wants to pitch in the major leagues to restore his professional reputation and his personal reputation, or he can just pitch abroad and be out there in the shadows. I would make the phone call. Now, there's a number of clubs. If I were the Angels, I would make the phone call. They need pitching. If I were the Padres, and there'd be flack, but at the end of the day, A.J. Preller's response should be, we're trying to win.
Yes, of course.
We want to be in October.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are the terms of the contract. Trevor, you want to pitch for the Padres? Mm-hmm. This is what you have to do and which is what you cannot do. And if you go off the rails, you're forfeiting all the money that we're paid you. But I think he'll do it. He's a major league pitcher, 80 and 53. So that's my opinion. It has not happened yet.
He deserves his chance back. I'm not sure if the Padres are the right fit, maybe because you can argue, do they need a bat more than needing an arm? You can go either way with that one.
They need health.
But the Angels, I mean, it's just a no-brainer for him to go play in Anaheim.
Yeah. And by the way, second chance as it relates to him is last chance. So make an offer to Trevor Bauer. Next question.
Let's go here to Petey Pie. And he says, how selfish or egotistical is Manny freaking Machado? Can he please go play some rehab games in Lake Elsinore or El Paso, get some easy hacks or dingers, and come back in the right mindset?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the mindset. He's just dinged. I mean, he has played this entire season as substandard as his .234 batting average was for the first couple of months. He's played with a bad elbow. That takes time to come back from. And now he injures the hamstring, or not the hamstring, the hip flexor, thundering down first base. He's just not 100% healthy. But my only concern, if they're going to put him in the lineup, is it as a DH. I don't think he can run the bases right now, and I don't know how he can play third base either. But he's a gamer. He wants to play. He plays volumes of innings. I mean, the guy never comes out of the lineup, but now he's had 2 injuries to deal with here in the first 3 months of the season. So you can be disappointed he's hitting .234. Maybe you're disappointed about his attitude. Read the back of my baseball card, but you can't hold it against him because the guy does grind.
Yeah, he does grind, but it is surprising that he isn't getting swings in somewhere else. But you know what? People love blaming Manny. They think he's a cancer on this team. They think the whole vibe in the clubhouse is a problem because of Manny. I don't get those vibes. I don't. I mean, Manny's his own man. He's different. He has his own style. But just the Manny hate doesn't make sense other than the fact that he's underperforming.
Well, reputation preceded him by what he did as an Oriole. And then obviously right at the end, if the Dodgers got taken out of the playoffs, they said, I don't have to be Johnny Hustle. Well, that pissed a lot of baseball fans off.
Yeah.
And so I think that baggage checked in at Petco Park early on. Next question.
Okay, let's go here to Neil. He says, Hacksaw's wearing his I Want to Talk Puck shirt.
Damn right. It's always the right time to talk hockey. By the way, I don't see anybody else in the media talking hockey. Does your newspaper cover the San Diego Gulls? No. Any of the TV anchors know anything about hockey?
No.
You're right. I am bleeping brilliant. And we are going to talk hockey in a segment where it fits on our talk show. And there's always hot topics to talk about when it comes time to talk puck. I even converted this guy to become a hockey fan.
That's saying something.
Yeah. You sit behind the penalty box at the arena, see the Gulls, the AHL. This is the guy holding the beer in one hand and pounding on the plexiglass, yelling at the player from Bakersfield and the other in a penalty box. So we will talk puck when it's the right time. Go ahead. Next question.
Okay, let's talk puck right now. Callan says, Oh, Canada Network of San Diego checking in. Hacksaw, oil bounce back tonight or Cats go up 2-0? Should be a doozy tonight.
Got to put the puck in the net. I mean, they had so many opportunities. They really outplayed Florida in that first game, and they just could not solve Bobrovsky. I just think you attack them a little bit different. Maybe they put their bigs in front of the net and just create havoc and screen them, because he has shown a history. If he lets in a bad goal, he starts to fight the puck a little bit. But so is Stuart Skinner. So I'll be interested to see what Florida does, because they did play physical. They just could not slow the Oil going into the zone. Next question.
Let's go here to Angel. It says, not surprised Hurley turned down the Lakers head coaching job. He got a great thing going in UConn, and taking the Lakers means that he had to deal with the LeBron politics.
Might be. I think the Lakers, now they offered him the deal. I was told 6 years, $78 million, which is an all-time record. They offered him the deal, but I think there was some private concern that Hurley only coaches one way, and that's in your face, fella. I am the coach. You are the player.
Yes.
Now, that works at UConn,
Mhm.
and they've won these national championships. But is he going to get in the face of AD or LeBron or D'Angelo Russell if he comes back? That's a whole different approach, because now you're dealing with a rich man and you're screeching at a rich man. And this is the only way you've ever coached. So I don't know if there was any private concern about his approach to dealing with players, but the guy is brilliant. What was his record? 178 and 53, I think, something like that at UConn. But I just got a feel on Saturday. It was a source close to Hurley told a reporter in Hartford that Dan went there to explore. Okay, so he wanted to meet Jeannie Buss, Palenka, obviously exchange philosophy. But when the word explore, that meant to me he's not committed to do this. Then they made the financial offer. He went home, and he said he took a private walk on the campus, I guess on Sunday. He says, my heart is in this place. That's why I stayed. So that's the deep background of who he is, how he does his business, and then the emotional strings that pulled on him that let him stay there.
Well, he has a responsibility to himself and to his family to explore, right? And so he went and explored it, and it wasn't a right fit for him. But, college basketball and the NBA are so different. I mean, how many coaches have been, at the top of the heap in both college and the NBA? I mean, it's a short list, right?
Oh, like maybe 2, 3.
Yeah.
I can't name them off the top of my head. I mean, the ones that have failed are just absolutely phenomenal. Led by way back in the day, Jerry Tarkanian.
Mm-hmm.
What a disaster that was in San Antonio. So it's just a real radical transition. And now it's so different because of the money the NBA guys are making. And there's so many great athletes. But so we'll see what the Lakers do. Keep in mind, Coach K. Hey, talk to my other friend, Jay Wright, ex-Villanova coach. Maybe you connect the dots to that one. Let's move on.
Moving on, and let's go here. This is from Chris. It's kind of a two-parter. He says, "Go Dodgers, baby." He says, "Almost swept the Yankees."
Pretty good series. But, they've been up and down for different reasons. I mean, they've had so many injuries, and they're sitting there with one of the best records in Major League Baseball, and they go in and they just punch the Yankees in the mouth. Now, the Yankees have got some injury problems, but that's going to change. I mean, Soto's going to be back. They dodged that bullet. Garrett Cole might be back by Tuesday or Thursday. He's had 4 pretty impressive outings in rehab, so he might be about to come back. So the Yankees are the real deal. As long as they keep Soto and Judge healthy, they're going to score a lot of runs.
Well, I'll tell you what, when the Yankees played the Padres, it was like Major League Baseball against like a rookie club. It was like an amazing difference in the not only in the performance, but the presence,
the aura.
The aura, all of that was baked in. And the Yankees were just the beasts from the East. The fact that the Dodgers beat them 2 out of 3, that's hella good.
Yeah. And the Yankee players said they were stunned on Sunday. Now the Yankees won on Sunday. Said there were more Dodger fans than there were Yankee fans in the stadium. In Yankee Stadium, Dodger fans showed up. That was pretty impressive.
Probably arrogant as hell as well.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Next question.
Next question.
A Yankee fan can identify arrogance. Yes, he can too.
Yeah, he can. Let's just get a social media one in here real quick, and let's talk about, MLB eras. This is a good one. This is from Jack, talking about the integration of the Negro League statistics in Major League Baseball. The record books should be held for their eras to maintain context. The 154-game season should be one. The 162-game season through 1994 should be another. 95 on should be its own thing with all the Reuters, ridiculous rule changes, wild card playoffs, juice balls. Most records mean very little for argument's sake in the absence of context.
Yeah, and it's been a discussion I've had because I wrote a column on my website, which you people need to read. My website is bleeping brilliant. I wrote a column about, do we segregate in the Hall of Fame?
Segregate?
Well, we put the Negro League statistics on one platform and the Major League statistics, because it's hard to make a mix and match, because the Negro League numbers incorporated barnstorming tours and games against semi-pro teams, and Major League Baseball is the 154 or 162 game schedule, and those are the stats. I wouldn't call it segregating the statistics. I'd just say we are honoring, obviously, Josh Gibson in the Hall of Fame and all these other great black players from 1920 to 1947. They now have the ability to be put in, but just put their stats up on one side because that was a different area, and just look in awe of Josh Gibson's 370 career record. Some people of the opinion that he hit 700 career home runs. We don't know that because not all those records are accessible or available. But that, I hate to use the word segregate in the Hall of Fame, but if you just segregated the Negro League stats and put them alongside, you just appreciate it. That's all.
Separate but equally.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. No, see, you got to do both. You got to integrate them and stack rank them, and Josh Gibson's at the top, and you can say, okay, there they are. And every guy has a story, and they had certain challenges during their era. And then if you like, you can also break it down by different groups. Just as Jack here was commenting about the different, the steroid area, the pre-steroid area, the 154 game season. I think you look at it in lots of different contexts, and that gives you a greater appreciation for what the players did and what the sport's about.
And in closing, all you baseball fans who join us, you have my permission to take the first week of January off from our podcast. If you've never been to the Hall of Fame, you got to go to the Hall of Fame. Go to the Hall of Fame in January when it's snowing in Cooperstown and there's nobody there. You'll enjoy the restaurants and the baseball-themed exhibits, etc. And then go to the Hall, and you can spend 11 hours in the Hall of Fame that day because there'll be nobody there because it's snowing in upstate New York. But, hey, it's beautiful. And you walk in that place, I bet you'll take 100 pictures on your cell phone of the plaques and the uniforms and display. It's a slice of Americana you should see.
It's a church.
Yeah, synagogue.
Yeah, it's like you walk in, you're in awe.
It's a
all
chapel.
These great people that have in history. It's
Shrine.
like walking into a shrine at church.
It really is cool. You can go January the 11th while it's snowing in Cooperstown, New York. Hey, listen, we hope you have enjoyed our Monday bonus podcast. It's great to have you with us. Our podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center Stores and by North County Eye Centers. Poway Escondido offering my viewers free eye exams. Tell them Hacksaw sent you. John, have a great week. I do think we covered a lot of topics on the table, blitzing through this hour. We'll be back in here Thursday at 1 p.m. to do it all again.
Oilers tonight. I want to see this Stanley Cup go 7.
I'd love to see that too. And thank you to our O Canada network for joining us. And thanks for being part of Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps. For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.